Hey, it's A Nikki B on the scene, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another beat with me. And if you are not, welcome back. Yeah, new hair, new me. Yes, girl, I got me the bohemian braids, and yes, the curls are human, and yes, I paid $200 for it. I know it's a little short for $200, but it's okay. I get it. Everybody gotta make their money. But yeah, girl, y'all. A lot has happened in this past couple of weeks. I feel like it's just too much going on. So I just wanted to do this video of like giving my thoughts on everything that has happened. First and foremost, we're going to hit it hot and heavy. Diddy being arrested or going to be arrested or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure his whereabouts right now, but his homes were raided. His home in Miami and his home in LA. And it was raided because Homeland Security went to the court, say, yo, we got a lot of evidence on this man. He's been connected to a lot of blah, blah, blah that I'm not going to discuss in the video, but y'all know what he's connected to. And they was like, all right, approved. And boom, both his homes got raided. So this man has been in the news for a lot of suspect things. He has been shown on camera to do a lot of weird behavior, especially in, touching men on camera in very suggestive ways. Diddy is not new to any of these allegations at all. I've been hearing for years that this man has, wild parties, has been doing things in his homes, having secret rooms, having videotapes of people, having people do things, extorting them, etc. He has just been connected to a lot of things that I am not surprised that he's getting caught up like this. If anything, it was a long time coming because again, this man has done a lot of scandalous things, a lot of suspect things, a lot of, just been in a lot of situations that it just seemed like, okay, why would you even do that? Or why are you even connected to that? Like, you just have to question this man. And even when you look at him, he looked like he's a problem. There's just certain people who just have certain faces and they look like a problem. Like some people just have it in their energy, and he is definitely a dark energy person. I would never want to be around him. And especially again, from what other people's accounts have said, he has very wild parties, very, very wild. And I'm like, yeah, he has these wild parties to make people do things. And then again, he records everything and blah, 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 so that he could use people in that way. There was a lot of conversations surrounding his children like, oh, but let's not talk about it. Let's just think about the kids and how they might feel. And I'm just like, he did not think about them kids when he was over here, racking up a lot of victims, using people, possibly, allegedly Xing people out and etc. He did not think about them kids. If anything, he only thinks about the kids when it's time for him to be a family man. So then that's when he brings the kids out. But other than that, he don't give a rat's tail about those kids. And watch the week when he has hurt, humiliated, exposed, and just downright violated people. At this point, it's a slap to the face to the kids because you're supposed to be their father, their protector. You're supposed to take care of them, and this is what you're getting caught up for. Sex trafficking, drug possession, gun possession. You have all this money and you still decide to be a bad person. I don't know, but he did not care about them kids. But since we're talking about Diddy and his, ba-booms, we gonna move right into Schneider. Now, y'all heard of the Quiet on Set documentary. I believe it is on HBO Max, I believe. Regardless of what platform it's on, that is a crazy documentary. And it's just so sad that these are the shows that, for my generation, most of our generations, we grew up watching and we grew up, wanting to be those kids. We wanted to have fun. We wanted to do the slime thing. We wanted to be on this show, Like me growing up, I wanted to be on all that. I thought it was a great show. I liked, at the time, I didn't really know acting was something that I liked. But I was always fascinated by it, I was always fascinated by like the stories, etc. And I wanted to be on all of that, and even watching the Amanda Bynes show. That was very fun to watch. I wanted to be her. Like, it was awesome. But just to come to find out, all those kids, well, not all of them, but most of them were being abused by production, by Schneider himself and other people. What's the other guy named? Brian Peck. It is just so crazy. And it's sad. It's so sad. Like, no one stepped up to say, this is wrong. They let this man get away with everything. You could just tell when they did have, you know, when they shown videos. Because keep in mind, like, I didn't actually watch the documentary. I'm gonna just make that clear. I was watching clips of the documentary that people were sharing on TikTok. But, you know, people be sharing everything. So I practically watched the entirety of the documentary. But anyway, even when other videos started to kind of resurface from Dan Schneider's POV or Ryan Peck's POV, you could just sense something more was going on. You could sense the uneasiness of how everyone kind of looked on camera. It's almost like a trigger response, like they kind of move a certain way. Like, it was just a lot of weird moments, a lot of suspect moments, and you could just tell these kids were stressed. And I didn't even know that apparently the Victorious cast, like, they were mainly, you know, a little intoxicated while on set, because he would feed them alcohol and, you know, get them loose and this and that. And then let me not get into the whole foot fetish thing and how he had them. There's a lot of foot fetish issues in a lot of his shows, and then he had the kids being very suggestive content and dialogue. So it was just a lot of things that is so crazy. Like I said, it just goes over your head when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you're gonna find it weird, you might find it funny, and you might not be able to conceptualize what you're watching. You're just going to watch it. But what you're really getting is something that's very, very disgusting. And Dan Schneider and everybody involved were very disgusting for how they treated those kids. And it's crazy because, again, when we see these kids grow up, and then we start hearing the stories about how they, you know, they're doing drugs or they're having trouble with the law, etc. We looked at that back in the day like, oh, they just want to blow their money. They're living in Hollywood. They just want to live that fast life, man. Whatever they got going on, you know, whatever's happening to them, then they deserve it because they're just privileged, Only to realize these were people's cry for help. These were people who were hurt. These were people who felt abandoned. These are people who were abused. So this is their way of just kind of maybe regaining their autonomy, so to speak. It's just crazy. And then what really kind of mind boggled me was with that one lady, I don't even know her name, and she kind of speaks of her daughter in the past tense. So a lot of people have been speculating that her daughter may have passed away. I'm not going to say that she did, she didn't. I don't want to put that into the universe, but she talks of her in the past tense. But it was the mother. She had blonde hair. I'm going to just show a picture of it. But she was basically saying like she allowed her daughter to converse with somebody from production. And he was like another, like, I guess, top guy or whatever. And she thought that was okay in terms of like, okay, you know, he works here. I'm trying to get you on the show. We could get money. And keep in mind, none of these kids are really getting paid like that as it is. So it really did not make sense why a lot of these parents just like accepted it. It's like, no. But no amount of money would ever be acceptable for any of this action. But it's like, again, they're not getting paid like that. But anywho, the mother allowed her daughter to have, you know, conversations with this man, which was clearly inappropriate. But the mother thought it was okay to eventually this man end up sending him a video of himself. And just imagine what that video could possibly look like. And keep in mind, this girl's probably, I think at the time she was like 12, if I'm not mistaken. She ran into the room crying, told her mother, and guess what the mother did? She did not go to the police at all. Not because of any valid reason. She said that she didn't want to go to the police because she didn't want people thinking that she's a bad mother for allowing her daughter to have inappropriate conversations with this person from production. So you worried more about the ridicule and the reputation of your motherhood instead of the safety of your daughter. I just could not understand that logic. It just did not make any sense to me. But a lot of people's like, you know, but you gotta have grace for the parents because they were probably, you know, groomed too. And, you know, I get that. You know, I get that because, again, to even do those crimes, you have to be a mastermind. Like, I'm not saying this to give them a praise. I'm saying this like you have to strategize the entire plan in order for you to get what you want. So of course the parents had to be buttered up. They had to be promised things. You know, not only are you promising, you know, the parents are promising the child of something, there has to be something that's going to keep ringing them along. Whether it could be money, it could be more, you know, at the time, you know, they want to be on TV. Oh, your child will be in more episodes or have more lines, or we might get your child in commercials, this and that, if they do this and that. As long as they do this and that for me, and you do that for me, you know what I'm saying? They get rung along. So I get that. I absolutely get that. However, a lot of these parents just allowed it because they did not question it. They felt that something was wrong. Because it wasn't like a lot of these situations, they didn't really know. Like, it was just completely, like, blindsided by it. Like, no, a lot of them knew it was wrong. And they still allow their child to go with these executives, to go with these directors, to go with all these people by themselves, unattended by their parents, etc. Da da da. That's what they did. And with that mother with the blonde hair, because again, I don't even know her name, but even with her just saying, oh, I didn't want people to think I was a bad mother, like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean you didn't want people to think you was a bad mother? You're a bad mother now talking about it, and your daughter is not with you. You look like a bad mother. You played yourself. You still ended up being a bad mother. Like, she thought she was going to get the sympathy card by just saying, yeah, you know, I just don't want people to think I was a bad mother. You are a bad mother. And again, even when it came to the other parents, I think it was the clip I seen, it was with the black boy. And I faintly, and it's so crazy, I faintly remember this skit on, I think it was on All That, either All That or Amanda Bynes, one of them. But he was the youngest rapper alive, and they called him Little Fetus. I remember that guy. I will always remember that suit that he had on. I remember how it just looked weird. He was talking about how, you know, when he was doing, I guess, the costume fitting or trying on the costume, and I think Schneider said, like, he wants the costume to look charcoal. Like, such a weird, obviously it has a lot of racist undertones with that, but it's like, it's one thing to say, hey, make sure the costume is like skin tone. Like, I want it to match his skin. You know, I want it to be seamless, versus saying, oh, it needs to be dark, it needs to be charcoal. Like, that is so disrespectful. And again, a lot of racist undertones, and then him dealing with, you know, a lot of other racist stuff. Like, for example, he played the character when they had like a very enlarged nose, and I'm just like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You cannot make this up. And it just, in general, they just had a lot of crazy skits on the show. Like, it was just mad. Like, there's just so many things like when I was seeing like older clips, because, you know, once you watch one video on TikTok, they just start showing you everything, and I was like, oh, I actually remember that. Oh yeah, like, you really start to look at it in a different light. I didn't mean to go too long on this segment, but yeah, they got they got the documentary up there, and then Schneider called himself doing an interview with that former actor that his name was Tebow or something on one of those shows. I think he was a bagel guy, whatever. But anyway, I thought that was obviously scripted. Obviously scripted. This man trying to save himself, and it's like, sir, you was better off just being quiet. You're not saving yourself out of this one. But like they said, this is the year of truth. So we waiting for more people to be truthful and getting more people exposed. So then the next thing that I've heard about when I was on my little TikToks or whatever, there was a Cabo trip gone wrong. Now I've heard that the story was made up, but we just going to talk about what the story. So basically, it was like, I think it was like a girls trip or whatever, and one of the friends only had $135 to their name when they attended the trip, and then the other friend ends up exposing the girl and talks bad about her and how you know, how could you bring $135? We're here in Cabo. It kind of does that, and it goes super viral on TikTok, and then eventually we find out, you know, people are saying the story is fake. But let's just say the story is real, because this is something I actually did want to talk about. I have gone on quite a few trips, as you guys may have seen on my channel. I have gone to Hawaii of early last year. I have gone to Las Vegas for my birthday. And I have gone to Arizona. And I have gone to Washington to close out of last year. And this year, I'm actually going to be going to Texas. One thing I learned when it comes to money is that you should not play When you go on vacation, you want to have just enough for fun and just enough for emergencies, especially when you're going into areas where you know you're going to be spending money. Now, a little quick story time. I went to Las Vegas for my birthday, as I mentioned, and there were some people who didn't have enough funds in their accounts. Quite a few people. I made it clear before we went on this trip that it is Las Vegas. You're going to be spending for your entertainment, like literally spending. Like if you want to go to the club, it's going to be a pretty penny. You want to go to a little restaurant, you know what I'm saying, depending on the restaurant, you're gonna pay more, you're probably gonna pay less, whatever, but you're spending for entertainment. That's what Las Vegas, you get drunk and you have fun. That's literally what that is. They don't call it Sin City for no reason, but a lot of people did not understand that. So when we did make it to Vegas and we did a couple of things, some people started, you know, being a little tight with their money, couldn't do a lot of things, couldn't book a lot of things. It just made the trip very hard to do. So going back to the story, if you know, from the girl bringing only $135, it just does not make any sense. If you do not have the money, you do not go. The world does not stop because you can't go for that one trip. Save up your money so you can actually enjoy yourself. Like people say, like, you know, you just gotta give grace to people who, you know, some people just want to have fun. Like people should just be able to have fun. And if it means that they're going to have this much in their bank account, then so be it, whatever. But what people fail to realize that, okay, you could probably have fun. Take out a couple of credit cards, take out a loan if you want to. Go ahead, have your fun. But when you come back home, you gotta pay all of that back. And if you don't got a job that's gonna support all of that, then you gonna be in debt and then you ain't never gonna have fun again. Now you can't go outside the way you want to because you paying this, you paying that, da da da. It doesn't make any sense. I get everyone deserves to have fun, but this is the real world. If you don't got it, you don't. Well, if you don't have enough, you don't buy it. Get what I'm saying? Why are you going to dig yourself in a hole just so you can barely have fun? Get what I'm saying? Cause even if, again, I'm sure Cabo is expensive, so having $135, the first day you might spend $135. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like you're not gonna have as much fun as you think you are. So why would you waste your time and waste everybody else's time? And who's to say that other people on the trip had enough to even support you? People don't think. People are so focused on themselves and what they want and doing a lot of selfish activities that they end up in positions like that. But then also, a little less on a $135 girl, the quote-unquote friend that went online to expose her, whatever. If you was really your friend, you would have not exposed her. You would have kept that on wraps. You would be like, listen, the next time we're going on a trip, you ain't coming. Like, y'all just should have had that conversation. Like, listen, like, I got you covered. You know, we got you covered with your girls, whatever the case may be. But you ain't going on no next trip with us. You cannot be doing that. Sorry. We'll just figure out next time. That wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be back again with another video.